Would you want how white parents raised their kids?
No, I like.
Would you want that?
No, it's horrible.
That's a horrible way. Like,
I'm not saying it's like every white parent is horrible. I'm just saying, like, that type of just that example makes no sense. Like, who calls their mom like the B word, and the mom's like, "It's okay, son." That's just like a joke. It's not actually true. It doesn't actually happen.
It does.
Upbeat.
Okay. Whatever. Holy fuck.
What happened to your voice? Need a drink.
No. It's very nice day out. I went on a run this morning, and I'm just still recovering.
You're all about the running and stuff.
Love it. The runner's high, you know, that when you get that runner's high, it's good. It feels good.
I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm also trying to get back to my like PR level where I was like running really well.
Yeah.
And I haven't been in that for a while. So, anyways,
welcome
back to Sim and Sing. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button because we've really slowed down. It's actually
going down the gutter.
People are supporting. You know what I don't get? People are supporting like all these like other creators or whatever, and they do the dumbest shit. I'm like, how are people more entertained by some of this like dumb shit? But it's like, do you want to start doing dumb shit? Maybe like maybe that'll, you know.
No, I can't. Too old for that.
Okay, today's video, brown parenting. It's interesting.
Is this a new one?
I don't know. I saw it come up on my thing. It's doing pretty well, so I was like, let's just talk about it.
Let's do it.
So all the brown boys out there, Indians, Pakis, Arabs, freaking Sri Lankans, all that shit. I'll tell you right now. So it's Father's Day, so I've been thinking about this, right? And I pride myself on being a good dad. Like, I know I'm a good dad. I'm really good to my kids. I make sure they have all the material shit, but I love them. I try to make them feel supported. I tell them how important they are and how far they're going to go in life and all this stuff. We never got that, right? It was like doctor. That's all we got. And our dads, they're programmed to kind of just talk down to us and be mean to us. So I'm going to tell you something. I know that probably affects a lot of you, and this message is going to resonate because a lot of times where we haven't achieved what we want in life, we blame it on our parents, right? They're honestly, ethnic brown parents are ruthless, right? My brother has talked about it many times where my mom just called him a failure. Like, he would do bad, she'd be like, you're a fail. Tu fail lega. That's what she would say to him. And that's like crazy. Like in 2025, we say like, that's fucked up. That's like mental child abuse. But unfortunately, it was normal 10 years ago. And me in the 90s, like the shit that I would hear from my parents was like, I wouldn't never say that to my kids. But again, they're great parents.
Raising weak kids. I'm not saying you have to go to that extreme, but you know, pampering them to certain levels isn't good either.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to get them ready for the world. That doesn't mean calling them a failure by any means, but it also doesn't mean saying the things that he was saying at the beginning. I think it's just too much. I also don't think my parents, he said his dad talked on to him, and that's not how my parents were.
Look,
sure, that's not how your parents were.
No. So everybody has different experiences. Okay?
Yeah, it's not the same.
We can't put them all in one one glass or whatever, right? But brown parents are, you know, they're known to be a little bit more strict, especially in the older generations. You know, they were a little bit more strict. But I think that's what motivated you to become better. Like you're saying, your parents, right?
Yeah.
Your parents might have not had the same attitude towards how they're parenting you, right? But looking at you guys, your siblings are all doctors.
Yeah.
Right? You did really well for yourself as well. And that was because your parents had done some sort of right parenting or motivated you in extreme ways.
And it's interesting actually, because I know people that actually have like kids whose parents actually weren't like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that those kids didn't achieve anything, because they did, but they didn't achieve like the high income jobs, the high income career. So the engineers, all that stuff, they didn't get there.
Yeah.
They're doing other things. I want to keep it up.
I know, but it's folded in.
I want to, like, they haven't got there. So it does kind of, you know, if I had only two choices, and one choice was to be a super hard-lined Indian parent, like my parents kind of. We weren't even that hard-lined, actually. But, or as somebody that's, raising kids, but just like you could do it and you're going to accomplish, but just like the fake stuff. Not saying you can't have that and have the other stuff, but it's too much this way now. And I would have the hardline stuff because, yeah, it's like ingrained in you and it pushes you. But that's good stuff, though. It's not bad, man. It's not a negative thing. I mean, calling your son a failure and this and that, yeah, that could affect a child in many ways. That's extreme, though. I don't think a lot of parents go around calling their kids failures.
No, but man, look at Just Rain's. Okay, for example, content creator Just Rain, right? I don't know if you've seen his show that's on Crave, right? That whole show is about how brown parents basically told him he's a failure in life and all that, okay, because he wanted to be a content creator, okay? And that it is a reality in some families, in some households, that your parents might have a little bit more pressure towards you. Look at the Asian families.
But hold on a second. Like, Just Rain is an anomaly, okay? First of all, if you go to a parent and the parent is like, I want to do this, with those types of parents, come on, your response is going to be like, what are you, crazy? Because they don't understand that. When we have kids, we are going to be like, okay, yeah, I've seen this, kind of grew up in it, at least, recent stuff.
Yeah.
So our willingness to accept that is totally different. But his parents, come on, they're like parents like that came to India, like when our parents came to India.
Yeah.
They're not going to understand what that is.
Yeah.
And so if they don't understand it, they're going to assume that it's a tough thing to like get into, or how do you make a career out of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know how many guys like Just Rain want to get to that point but never get there, and they're depressed, and so those parents are dealing with that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously, if they're gonna push him towards like a doctor or an engineer or whatever it is, that's because that's all they know. They don't know being an influencer or being a content guy.
Yeah.
And just because he made it, that doesn't mean now you can go back and be like, well, I told them I was going to do this and they didn't believe in me, and I actually did it. Yeah, okay, you're that one guy, and you caught it. You caught that momentum when that thing was just starting. You're the only new guy doing it.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's super funny.
Yeah, he is an anomaly.
I love his stuff.
Yeah.
I was just watching it the other day and it's funny.
Yeah.
But again, how many of those guys are doing that and aren't funny and don't get the traction that he got? Because he's good at what he does. He's funny. He has a good group of guys around him. Yeah. It just works. It clicked. But that doesn't mean that that's going to click for every desi guy with the bug. It just doesn't go, man. And then now, hold on a second. And then now they have nothing else.
Yeah.
They put all their chips into that one basket, and now they're like, well, if I can't become a content creator, then they're doing like the odd jobs here and there with the content, but it's not going, So that's why education is important.
Yeah.
Because if you educate yourself and you want to be a content guy, go for it. If that fails, you got something in the backup, right? Okay, well, I did this. Do I want to go into med school now or whatever it is and live a normal life? You know what I mean? But if you don't have that and you're just hell-bent on the influencer or the content creator stuff, and that's all you want to do, and it doesn't go, well, then you see the kids that are depressed. They don't know what to do anymore. All that garbage. So come on, man. Like, you have to be a parent that's like, listen, you got to get educated first.
Yes.
Do whatever you want afterwards, but at least get the education.
I think, okay, so in like my growing up, right? I never got, like, my parents never told any of us, all three of us, never like, okay, you got to be this or you got to be this or otherwise you're a failure in life, right?
Yeah.
Like, because they didn't go to school themselves, right? So they understand that it's not the only way of making it into life, right? You want to do what you can, like, call yourself happy with, right?
Sure.
So they've never forced us. And so I've had a little bit of a different raising, and like my parents have always been supportive on anything that I want to do. I woke up and I said, I'm going to the army, right?
Yeah.
I didn't tell them. I made the decision and I left. Right. And that was it. And they supported it, right? It was harder on them, but it's when you start springing like different things. When he talks about the 90s, right? I'm thinking like his parents might be, first gen immigrants here, right? And so they only know one path. Like they only see what they see back home, which is like, people that are doctors or engineers, or that's how they want to change. That's how the family career or path is going to change, right? So they put that little bit of pressure on you back then. But nowadays in 2025, is it still relevant to have that kind of pressure?
I think pressure is good. I think pressure makes you perform.
Yeah.
You know, and as a kid, you need some pressure because the world is a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that growing up, then you go out there and all of a sudden now you've been raised by some, I'm not going to say woke parent, but just easy parenting.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and it's true, man. I've seen it with the kids coming up nowadays, and you can just tell. You can just tell that their parents are just they're not of that caliber. And I'm not saying you have to be like our parents. I'm not saying that, but you have to be kind of like that.
You have to. You know what?
You know what I mean?
And we've noticed this, right? Because we did the video the other day with that girl that was crying. She can't handle her 20s.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
She goes online.
There you go.
Right.
That's
prime example.
That's a prime example of it.
Like,
and listen, eventually the parenting is gonna start going back to the other way.
Yeah.
It's always gonna
Yeah.
happen, right? You would think that people would have a brain and start going the other way, but
because we've teeter-tottered a little bit too, like the balance is way off to the right, where now you're just like, you can't tell kids what to do, or like, they're just sensitive.
there's way too much
right?
other stuff.
Because when reality or life actually hits,
Yeah.
you're weak.
Yeah.
You're weak, and you gotta stop having soft kids. You
Yeah.
know, like if you can't take a joke, and it hurts you, it hurts your feelings, and you need to go see a therapy about it. Like, come on,
Not good.
take like extremes. Anyways,
They're amazing parents, but they just were fucked up to where their parenting style was just brought from India and Pakistan to just doctor, nothing else. So and so, cousin so and so is doing this. My friend's daughter this. So my whole point is, I know that it affected you greatly. Like, that shit hurts. Like, when you think about it, like, your parents are supposed to love you, right? Unconditionally. And then when you grow up in America, you see all the white people and their parents are like, Jimmy's like, your mom, you're a bitch. And she's like, oh, it's okay, son. Don't worry about it. And it's like, damn, he's a piece of shit and he gets supported like that. I'm actually a good son and I'm getting fucking shit on. So I want you to tell you, like, go easy on them, right?
It's not true. Even I could tell what his parenting probably was, and he's just taking it to a different level. It's just not accurate. I mean,
would you want how white parents raised
no
their kids?
No, I like.
Would you want that?
No, it's horrible.
That's a horrible way. Like,
I'm not saying it's like every white parent is horrible. I'm just saying, like, that type of that example makes no sense. Like, who calls their mom like the B word, and the mom's like, it's okay, son. That's just like a joke. It's not actually true. It doesn't actually happen.
It does,
but that doesn't mean that they're unconditionally loved. You know what I mean? And how often is the kid calling the mom the B word?
I know many families. I know many kids that don't even speak to their parents anymore. Right after they're 18, they get kicked out.
If you think a kid calling their mom a B word and her saying, "Oh, that's okay, honey," that's unconditional love, that's not true. That kid is not being raised properly at all.
No.
That just goes to show you.
Yeah.
So how does that situation equate to like unconditional support? That's not support. If it was support, you tell your kid to not call you that and discipline them. So he's wrong. It just doesn't make sense. He doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
No, as
fucking people, man.
Here we go.
People are so stupid.
Go. As brown parents, like as brown kids, right? Indian, Pakistan, whatever. We have a certain amount of respect towards our parents. You would never hear us calling them a B word, or M word, no matter what. And if you can't respect your parents, you're never gonna get far in life.
No, So that whole example just doesn't ring true.
Okay,
right. Go easy on them because that is how they were taught. I'm not justifying it. I'm not making any excuses. If your parents were truly pieces of shit, they're unfortunately our parents like that. That's different. But if they're just your typical brown parent, I'd tell you, go easy on them, and also try to break that out of your head, like heal from it, right? Like, I've accepted the fact that my mom and dad love me to death, but some of the shit they did is like unfathomable to me, and like, why would you do that to somebody that you love? But again, they're programmed like that. So this is like a sentimental thing or whatever on Father's Day. I'm trying to get you to understand. Let it go. And a lot of you guys, I still get a lot of messages from a bunch of young guys that are like 18 to like 25, and my parents want me to do this, or they want me to marry this girl, or they want me to go to school for this. Stand up for yourself. Don't marry anybody you don't want to marry. I don't give a shit how cool your parents are or whatever they are, fight for it. But when it comes to other things, have some sense of understanding where they're coming from, but also have a backbone and stand up for yourself. I hope this message resonates with you. It's a 3-minute long video.
Way too long. You could have done it in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I like what he said there at the end there. You know, there are some times where you need to butt heads with your parents. You might not agree with certain things that your parents, because they haven't experienced it.
Yeah.
They might not have knowledge about it, or they might think that the one way that they have, or the path that they want you to take is that's the only path. And
I don't think it's the way that it's like, do you have to do this? But they're just trying to get you on a path.
No, but it's also
if
your
they're
responsibility.
pushing you towards something.
Yeah.
That's the job of a parent, man. What are they going to say? Don't go into this program. Don't study this.
No.
It's just suggestions.
No, but okay. So when you butting heads with your parents on a certain issue, right? Let me give you as an example, okay? As we're getting older, right? We're getting our own, we have our own lives. We got to go, we go out, we have friends circles. Your parents might not have the same thing, right? So you work out a balance. If they see you going out all the time, which was the issue that happened with us, right? What happened with me. When I was growing up, I have a big friend circle. Right. So I'm out all the time, right? Parents thinking that, hey, come on, you got to go, make some time.
Right.
It was my duty and my responsibility to make sure that they understand that when I go out on certain days, I'm going out to do some things that are, that's normal here.
Right.
Right. And then they started being more comfortable around it. Their experience grew around it.
Right.
And that was how they, allowed me to go do things. Right. But it was my responsibility as the child to actually have a conversation and tell them, because they never experienced that.
Right.
Back home, right? You went to work, you went to school, you came home and you did homework.
Right.
Yeah. That was it. You didn't really go out with your friends and stuff all the time.
No, it's just a different culture, man.
So I think it does come down to the kids as well. If you're going through trauma, it's your responsibility to teach your parents what the right way might be.
Yeah, you can have a conversation. It's not a big deal.
You got anything else on this?
No, nothing else.
All right. Well, happy Father's Day. I know it was a couple days ago. What was it?
Last week? Like last week, man.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Yep.
Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and let us know your guys' thoughts.
Peace.